Good afternoon, everyone. For today's topic is about life and exile in Dapitan. Rizal lived in exile in faraway in Dapitan, a remote town in Mindanao under the missionary jurisdiction of the Jesuits. Noong nasa Dapitan si Rizal, nagpraktis siya ng medisina rito. Tapos, pinalawak niya rin ang kanyang kaalaman sa mga lingwahe. Nagpatayo ng eskwelahan para sa mga lalaki. Gumawa rin siya ng wooden machine for making bricks and engage in farming and commerce. Next is beginning of exile in Dapitan. Ang nagdala kay Rizal sa Dapitan ay ang steamer Cebu. Tapos ito ay may dala ring kasulatan. And sa Dapitan ay nakilala niya si Father Pablo Pastil. Si Father Pablo Pastil ay ang superior ng Jesuit Society in the Philippines. Tapos siya rin ang nagsulat ng sulat para kay Father Antonio Obac. Si Father Antonio Obac ay Jesuit parish priest of Dapitan. So si Padre Pablo Pastil ang nagbigay ng kasunduan kay Rizal bago siya pwedeng mamuhay sa kumbento. Una ay he should apologize from the religion church publicly and state that he is pro-Spanish. Number 2 naman is he should perform church rites and make a confession of his past. And lastly, conduct himself in an exemplary manner as Spanish subject and the men of religion. Pero Rizal did not agree. Sunod naman ay Rizal stayed with Captain Carnicero. Si Rizal ay tumira kay Kapitan Carnicero and meron silang magandang pagkakaibigan at si Rizal ay binigyan ng kalayaan para pumunta kung saan saan pero magpapakita siya kay Captain Carnicero sa may opisina niya isang beses sa isang linggo. Si Rizal ay nagsulat ng tula para sa kanya na pinamagatan na Adon Ricardo Carcenero noong kaarawan ng kapitan. Next is Win in Manila Lottery. Noong September 21, 1892, ang bayan ng Dapitan ay natuwa noong dumating ang mailboat Butuan. At inakala naman ni Kapitan Carcenero ay may opisyal na Spanish na dadating. Pero ang dala ng Butuan ay walang opisyal na dadating pero isang magandang balita. Ang balita na yon ay nanalo sa loto ang number 9736 na pinagmamay-ari ni Kapitan Carcenero. At si Rizal at Francisco Igolor ay nanalo ng second prize na nagkakahalaga ng 20,000 pesos. Noong natanggap ni Rizal ang kanyang parte na 6,200, binigyan niya ang kanyang ama ng 2,000 at 200 para sa Basa Hong Kong. Ang natira naman ay ininvest niya sa agricultural land sa tabing dagat ng Talisay at loto lamang ambisyon ni Rizal. Next is Rizal Pastel's debate on religion. During Rizal exile, he had a long and scholarly debate with Father Pastel on religion. In spite of this, they remain good friends. Pastel gave Rizal a copy of Imitación de Cristo or Imitation of Christ, and reciprocation, Rizal gave him a bust of Saint Paul which he made. Next is Rizal challenges a Frenchman to duel. So si Rizal din ay nasangkot sa isang away kay G. Juan Lardet na isang negosyante na bumibili ng troso kay Rizal. Si Lardet sa isang liham kay Antonic Miranda ay nagsabi na kay Rizal ay isang matapat na tao. Sinabi niya sa akin na ang tabla na hindi kasama sa salaysay ay masama. Ipinasa ni Miranda ang liham na ito kay Rizal. Kaya't nagalit si Rizal at hinamon si Lardet sa isang tunggalian. Narinig naman ito ni Carnicero ang pangyayari at pinayuhan si Lardet na humingi ng tawad sa halip na tanggapin ang hamon dahil alam niyang si Rizal ay dalubhasa sa martial arts, fencing at baril. And next naman is Rizal and Father Sanchez. Father Pastil still did not stop from convincing Rizal belief into religion and instructed two Jesuits, to Father Obac and Father Jose Belaclara, to win him back. Furthermore, Father Francisco de Paulo Sanchez, Rizal's favorite teacher at Ateneo de Manila, Dapitan. He was the only Spanish priest to defend Noli Me Tangere in public. And the next is idyllic life in Dapitan. Rizal had an idyllic serenity in Dapitan. Si Rizal ay nagkaroon ng kalmado at mapayapa na pamumuhay sa Dapitan. At sa pagbisita naman ng kanyang mga kamag-anak ay papalit-palit na lang yung kanyang pamilya. Si Rizal ay nanirahan sa tabi ng dagat na maraming puno ng prutas, may mga alaga siyang hayop, mga kuneho at aso, at pusa. Siya ay bumabangon ng umaga upang bisitahin ang kanyang mga halaman, pakainin ang kanyang mga manok, at gisingin ang kanyang mga tauhan bago kumain ng almusal kasama ang mga ito. Pagkatapos, kanyang inaalagaan ang kanyang mga pasyente. At pagkatapos naman na yun ay tinuturuan niya yung kanyang mga estudyanteng lalaki. At sa hapon naman ay sa agrikultura naman siya nagpupokus. Sa gabi naman ay inuubos niya yung gabi niya sa pagbabasa at pag-aaral. Next is Rizal's encounter with Prior's spy. A spy of the Priors visited Rizal, pretended to be a relative as Pablo Mercado. He offered his services as a confidential carrier of letters and writings for the Patriots in Manila. By that time, Rizal was suspicious, but as a host, he invited the unwanted visitor to stay for the night due to the late hours and heavy rainfalls. Early the next day, he sent him away. Later, Rizal learned that this rascal was telling people that he was a relative of Dr. Rizal. Then Rizal reported to Captain Juan Sitges about the impostor and arrested. On investigation, the real name of the rascal is Florencio Namanan, and he was hired by the Priors to spy on Rizal's activities, letters, and writings, which might incriminate him in the revolutionary movement. Strangely, Sites squashed the investigation and released the spy. Next is, as physician in Dapitan, Rizal practiced medicine in Dapitan. Most of the time were poor patients, so that he even gave them free medicine. He operated on his mother's right eye. Some of his patients are Don Ignacio Tumarong. A rich Filipino paid him 3,000 pesos. An Englishman paid 500 pesos. Don Florencio Azucarraga, a rich haciendero of Aklan, paid him a cargo of sugar. Rizal became interested in local medicine and in the use of medical plants. He studied the medical plants of the Philippines. For poor patient, he prescribed the local medicinal plant. Next is water system for Dapitan. Water system for Dapitan. Rizal held the title of expert surveyor or perito agrimensor. In Dapitan, he applied his knowledge of engineering by constructing a system of waterworks in order to furnish clean water to the town people of Dapitan. This is the picture of Mr. H.F. Cameron, an American engineer, praised Rizal engineering feat. Next is community projects for Dapitan. He spent many months draining the marshes in order to get rid of the malaria that infested Dapitan. He knew that malaria is spread by the mosquito. 500 pesos an English patient paid him. The 500 pesos was used to equip the town with a lighting system. Coconut oil lamps placed in dark streets of Dapitan. Another community projects of Rizal was the beautification of Dapitan. Rizal and Father Sanchez made a huge relief map of Mindanao on earth stones and grass. The Sanchez made a huge relief map of Mindanao of earth stones grass. That's all. Thank you. Next reporter.
To an exile gave him the opportunity to put into practice his educational ideas. He established a school which began with 3 pupils and in the course of time increased to 16 and later 21. Rizal taught his boys reading, writing, language such as English and Spanish, geography, history, mathematics under arithmetic and geometry, industrial work, nature study, morals, and gymnastics. Rizal conducted his school at his home in Talisay, near Dapitan, where he had his farm and hospital. As you can see in the presentation, on the right lower part of our presentation, we have here the image of Talisay tree. Rizal also created a hymn to Talisay for his pupils to sing. Rizal found Mindanao a rich virgin field for collecting specimens. With his baroto, or sailboat, and accompanied by his pupils, he explored the jungles and coasts, seeking specimens of insects, birds, snakes, lizards, frogs, shells, and plants. So those were his contributions to science. In payment for these valuable specimens, the European scientists sent him scientific books and surgical equipments. One of the lists of ethnographical material collected at Dapitan by Rizal for the Dresden Museum. And here are the ethnographical materials collected by Rizal for the Royal Zoological Museum in Dresden, Saxony. During his 4th-year exile in Dapitan, Rizal built up a rich collection of conchology which consisted of 346 shells representing 203 species. He discovered some rare specimens which were named in his honor by the scientists. Specimens collected by Rizal and Father Sanchez now in the Jesuit Museum. Rizal's drawings of fishes caught at Dapitan. The following species discovered by Rizal in Dapitan are the following: Draco rizali, flying dragon; Apogonia rizali, small beetle; Rhacoporus rizali, rare frog. The following species were named after him. Here it is: Draco rizali or Draco rizali; Pogonia rizali; Rhacoporus rizali; Rizal continued his studies of languages, Visayan, Cebuano, Malay language. April 5, 1896 is his last year of exile in Dapitan, and that was the time as well that he wrote to Blumentritt. He also learned 22 languages. They have Tagalog, Ilocano, Visayan, Cebuano, Spanish, Latin, Greek, English, French, German, Arabic, Malay, Hebrew, Sanskrit, Dutch, Catalan, Italian, Chinese, Japanese, Portuguese, Swedish, and Russian. He also drew the 3 rare species of animal life. He molded a statuette representing the mother, dog killing the crocodile by way of avenging her lost puppy, and it is entitled The Mother's Revenge. Other sculptural works of Rizal in Dapitan were a bust of Father Guerrico, a statue of a girl called the Dapitan Girl, a carving of Josephine Bracken, and a bust of St. Paul which he gave to Father Pastels. He bought 16 hectares of land in Talisay. He introduced modern methods of agriculture which he had observed in Europe and America. He even imported agricultural machinery from the United States. Rizal is a businessman in partnership with Ramon Carrion, a Dapitan merchant. He made profitable ventures in fishing, copra, and hemp industries. The most profitable business venture of Rizal in Dapitan was in the hemp industry. He also formed business in lime manufacturing. Rizal's inventive ability. Rizal invented a cigarette lighter which he sent as a gift to Blumentritt, which he called sulpukan. It was made of wood and its mechanism is based on the principle of compressed air. He invented a machine for making bricks that could manufacture about 6,000 bricks daily.
Rizal wrote a beautiful poem about his serene life as an exile in Dapitan and sent it to his mother. And it is titled Mi Retiro, one of the best ever penned by Rizal, according to literary critics. So, let's talk about Rizal and Josephine Bracken. Josephine Bracken, an Irish girl of sweet 18 with blue eyes, dressed with elegant simplicity, and she was born in Hong Kong on October 3, 1876. Josephine Bracken, her parents, which is James Bracken and Elizabeth Jane. James Bracken, a corporal in the British garrison. Elizabeth Jane McBride died in childbirth. So because of that, she was adopted by Mr. George Stauffer, who later became blind. This is the carving of Josephina Bracken by Rizal. This is what I talk about. By in the previous discussion. Mr. Toffers, accompanied by Josephine, went to Manila, seek the famous ophthalmic surgeon Dr. Rizal. They heard in the city that Dr. Rizal was in Dapitan. Rizal and Josephine fell in love with each other at first sight. After a 1-month romance, they agreed to marry, but Father Obak, priest of Dapitan, refused to marry them with the permission of the Bishop of Cebu. Hearing of their projected marriage, Mr. Toffer flared up in violent rage, for he was unable to endure the thought of losing Josephine. He tried to commit suicide by cutting his throat, but Rizal grabbed his wrist and prevented him from killing himself. Josephine then went with Toffer to Manila by the first available steamer. Toffer went Toffer went away untreated of his blindness because his ailment was incurable. Mr. Toffer returned alone to Hong Kong, while Josephine stayed with Rizal's family in Manila. Later, she returned to the Pitan, and since no priest would marry them, Rizal and Josephine held hands together and married themselves before the eyes of God. They live as man and wife. Rizal and Josephine lived happily in Dapitan. He was no longer lonely. For him, Dapitan had become a heaven of bliss. Rizal wrote a poem for Josephine entitled Josephine, Josephine. In the early part of 1896, Rizal was extremely happy because Josephine was expecting a baby. Unfortunately, he played a prank on her, frightening so that she prematurely gave birth to an 8-month baby boy who lived only for 3 hours. This last son of Rizal was named Francisco, in honor of Rizal's father, and was buried in Dapitan. Andres Bonifacio, the great plebeian, was sowing the seeds of an armed uprising Katipunan, founded on July 7, 1892, was gaining more and more adherents. Dr. Pio Valenzuela was named emissary to Dapitan in order to inform Rizal of the plan of Katipunan to launch a revolution for freedom's sake. Next is Dr. Valenzuela. Dr. Valenzuela left on board the steamer Venus along with him a blind man named Raimundo Mata and a guide in order to camouflage his real mission. Valenzuela told Rizal of the Katipunan plan of the necessity of his support. Next is, however, Rizal objected to Bonifacio's plans. He believed it was premature for 2 reasons. First is the people are not ready for a revolution. Second is arms and funds must first be collected before raising the cry of revolution. He also disapproved of the plan of Katipunan to rescue him because he had given his word of honor to the Spanish authorities and he did not want to break it. Months before the Katipunan had contacted him, Rizal had offered his services as military doctor in Cuba. It was Blumentritt who told him of the deplorable of the health situation in Wariden, Cuba, and advised him to volunteer as armed physician there. So Rizal wrote to Governor General Ramon Blanco, Despujol's successor, offering his service as military doctor in Cuba. When he least expected it, a letter from Governor Blanco arrived in Dapitan, notifying him the acceptance of his offer, stating that he would be given a safe conduct to Spain. Rizal's joy in receiving the gladsome news. At last, he was free. Once more, he was going to travel Europe and Cuba. It was with joyous thought of resuming his travels that he wrote his heart-warming poem El Canto del Viajero. I repeat that he wrote his heart-warming poem El Canto del Viajero, or it means the song of the traveler. So next, July 31, 1896, his 4-year exile in Dapitan came to an end. Accompanied by Josephine, Narcisa's daughter, he embarked the steamer España. Also all the Dapitan folks bid him goodbye, and the town brass band strangely played the dolorous funeral march of Chapin. Adios, Dapitan. Thank you.